All right, we are on a Tim Cain streak. This one is taking responsibility as a leader. Or I'm sorry, this one is not because I'm going to watch that one at a different time. I was like, wait, hold on. That's not the one I decided on, but we will watch this one in the future. This one is game development as an identity. I've already ruined the intro. Let's jump in and see what Tim has to say.
Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Today I want to talk about
Hi, Tim.
game development as an identity. And this is probably going to be a fun Friday video because it's going to be about game development, but it's going to be kind of personal.
Okay.
Not 100% sure where it's going to go. Maybe a little rambly. Sorry about that.
How dare you?
5 years ago, right now it's January of 2026. Sorry, there's a fire truck outside.
Uh-oh.
That's interesting. So it's January of 2026, and back in May of 2020, so over 5 years ago, I semi-retired. And what that means is I went from being an employee at Obsidian to being a contractor. And I
Semi-retired. We all know that Tim is a passionate developer. There's no retiring for people like us. There isn't.
consulted at other companies too, all part-time. It wasn't what I was doing full-time. This let me see a lot of different game development processes.
It is cool. It is very useful, yeah.
I also got to work on a lot of toys. I have two videos on semi-retirement. One talking about semi-retirement and the other one talking about why I even did it. The whole time during those 5 years, I was working on my toys. I was making a lot of little, I wouldn't call them games, I call them toys on the side for fun because I kept thinking of things.
Yeah.
And
want to try it out?
Lately, I realized just how much of being a game developer was how I saw myself. It's who I was. It's what I think of when I think of myself and who I am. I think game developer.
Same.
Sure, I read and cook and watch movies and do all kinds of other things. But after 45 years of doing this, I can't stop developing in my head all the time. I'm always thinking of games. Most of my shirts are video game related. And
I'm wearing a Gamescom. All my shirts are game related. Or okay, there's a couple of like TV show ones, right? Like I've one for The Wire. I've one for The Sopranos. I love those shows. To my core, I love stories and I love storytelling. I wish I was better at writing stories myself, but I can appreciate stories and deep characters and nuanced writing and those characters that you can just constantly break down and think about their motivations because it's so interesting. I love that about stuff. But I also when I think of who I am as a person, it's like I'm a developer, I'm a designer. Like this is what I do. I can't imagine doing anything else in my life. Sure, if I needed the money or if I needed to survive, I'll do whatever's needed. It doesn't matter. But I will still think about games. I'm going to go home. I'm going to think about games and game development. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to think about game development. What are we doing today? Common UI. What do we need to do for Common UI? How are we going to build that? What do we need to do after Common UI? How do we build up this feature? I can't wait until next milestone because we're doing solar flares and solar radiation, and that seems really cool. And I can't wait until we finish that and we get to vertical slice because then we can add in all the cool VFX. And it's if I'm not working on a game, I physically become depressed. It's not even a question. I actually become depressed if I'm not working on a game. I even kind of feel that if I'm not making progress. So, unfortunately, you have days without progress. Yeah, it hurts. But when I'm making progress, I feel good, I feel happy, I feel accomplished, even if it's kind of mentally exhausting to do so. It's my identity. It's who I am. This is my passion. This is what I do. I'm a bit of like an ethical activist within the industry. I don't like seeing myself as an activist, but I am one. But I can't stop. This is just what I love so much, and I hate seeing it be torn apart by bad practices or bad faith actors. I hate it. How's it going, Paul? Still going strong? That's all right. I'm talking about game dev right now, and game development as an identity.
And I'm now back at Obsidian as an employee. But let me tell you what made me think of even talking about this and why I'm talking about this right now.
Yep.
Here's my idea book. I've talked about this book and a bunch of others that are on my shelf. These are blank books that I fill with ideas.
Oh, wait, hold on. Gotta steal one. Hold on.
Shelf. These are blank books that I fill with ideas.
Oh, it's for Arcanum. Okay, he's already released the game. I do the same thing though. I keep like some notes of different ideas or like systems. I usually do it on my phone, but sometimes I have like post-it notes with ideas too. Okay, I'm sorry, Tim, that my first thought to you showing your idea book is to steal the idea, but it was more just kind of funny to see what you had written down.
And this book has been sitting idle on this desk for 2 months, pretty much since I moved back to Southern California. It's just been sitting there. I haven't opened it. I haven't written anything in it because I haven't had any ideas.
No, but it happens. You have,
That
like,
was weird.
I can just be walking down the road and I have an idea for like a system or like a cool setting. I probably have some here on my phone. Horticult. Don't steal that name. Horticult. Plant growing game where the plants are evil. A good game, isn't it? Idea top down dice camera view that smoothly rotates as character steps onto different sides of dice. Game about zombie prepping where you dash around a Walmart supercenter with a cart and try to get everything on your list before time is up. That one was half finished. I don't even know what that one was supposed to say. Or like ideas for like story stuff. I just have one that's written down mind scanners. Game where like you are a dungeon master leaning over a table like as like a puppet master. That was like a camera idea. I have so much of this stuff written down. So much of it. Stolen things I buy forever.
Usually it got opened at least every week. Usually every few days. Sometimes every day. But yesterday, I added 3 different entries. Just boom, had an idea, wrote it down, had another idea, wrote it down, had a third idea, wrote it down.
Oh, I love days like that.
2 of the ideas are so interesting to me. Like, if you do any kind of gambling, you can understand. It's kind of burning in my head. It's all I can think about.
Yeah.
That I'm debating spinning up some prototypes. Pulling up Unity again and just spinning out a few prototypes just to explore those ideas farther.
Well, I mean, and that's like the key to like the pre-production. Not every game idea is a good idea. And most game ideas, there's a way to execute it in a way that will make it successful, right? Because let's say your game costs, I don't know, $100 to make, and you sell 5 copies, or let's say 50 copies at $10 a piece. Profit. You made profit. Like that game was successful. I mean, I get depending on how you want to metric that. You can make a lot of ideas that are very niche. You just can't spend a whole lot of money on them because the more niche the idea is, the less likely it is to succeed financially. But you can find a lot of ways to make interesting ideas niche. Goat Simulator is a game where you play as a goat, and they deliberately left in bugs that didn't crash the game because they thought it was funny. You pitch that to any publisher before that game came out, they wouldn't have greenlit it. But it worked because it's silly. It has no grander purpose beside let's just make a game that is so buggy and broken that you find it funny, but it's not going to crash on you. And it worked.
One of the ideas is like nothing I've played before. It's like nothing I've seen before. Meaning, I may have come up with the original idea. I don't know. Those are so rare these days. I'm sure as soon as I tell someone my idea, they're going to go, "Oh, Tim, there's a half a dozen games just like this." But it's original for me. But also, I know it's going to be challenging to do.
And it's like, it could be challenging to make. It could be risky because of how you communicate, how the system works. It could, require other systems to support it in order to be successful. It could have been tried and failed, but that doesn't mean that it can't be done properly. It's just, there's no bad idea. There's no bad design. There's just design that isn't going to work for your game or for a specific audience or at a specific point in time. It just, you make a game where you flip the little paper football, right? You can absolutely make a game that's successful and fun with that. You can even make it into a mini game that is supporting a larger game. Look at the mini games of the Yakuza series. They're really fun. and they support the game because they're really fun distractions. They've built this entire, expectation that when you play another Yakuza game, that you are going to have all these fun little mini games to just spend some time in, or they have really deep systems within them because maybe they just thought it'd be fun to add this. It'd be fun to throw into this world. Anything can work. It's hard to say whether or not it's going to. It depends on the vision, depends on the audience, depends on how you accomplish it.
Number of reasons. It will be challenging to design, and it'll be challenging to code. But I've never seen anything like it, and I would love to see it either as a standalone game by itself, or if the prototype is fun, rolling it into a feature in an RPG. So instead of making a whole game about just this, making it part of an RPG, and I think that'd be really fun. By the way, I have no plans to release any of these. These are my toys. You've seen some toys on my channel.
This is who
no
you
plans
are.
to release any of these. But once that happened, I realized, you know what? I may be 60 years old. I may have stepped away from the industry for a few years and only done it part-time. But I'm still thinking like a game developer.
Yeah.
And developing ideas in my head. And once they start, they just go. Some days I feel like Abed, if you've watched the TV show Community, he was always developing TV shows in his head. He was always doing voiceover. He was always treating his friends like they were characters. He even made movies and shows in the TV show. He's always doing that.
I do the exact same thing. I will come up with a game idea. I'll write like an elevator pitch or a few sentences of what the game is about. It doesn't even have to be great. It just needs to be correct. And I will just send that to friends. I will just send, hey, new game idea, placeholder name or whatever, or just game about this, and this, where you do this, and this thing. Thoughts? Mechanic where you do this thing and it leads to this. One of my mechanics that I really want to make like an immersive sim RPG, or include it within one, is like this really detailed bartering system where the knowledge you have of like magical items, you can convince and lie to like the person buying the item in order to upsell a product, and their own knowledge of that might dictate whether or not they believe you. It's like, I don't know how to accomplish this. It's very complex, and you can do it so many ways that would destroy the magic of that system, or that would become too old or too tedious. So it's like, do I make it a game only about that, or do I work this into a larger game that's slower paced, and so people expect systems like that? I don't know. It would be fun to prototype, and it's, sometimes I think of that and just see if I can like find some of the ways past this mental barrier, or ways that I can cleanly create that. And sometimes I do prototyping days, although these days I'm very busy trying to develop Redlock, so it's like that is my prototyping focus. Is RuneScape an immersive sim RPG? To a certain extent, sure. Absolutely. I mean, it's absolutely an RPG. It has immersive elements. Yeah, I mean, it's very much a role-playing game, right? You can play nearly any role in RuneScape and find success through that. It doesn't have to be a quest cape. It doesn't have to be 99 in all skills. It could just be that you want to make all of your profit off of mining, or off of wood cutting, or I don't know, not training combat, right? Being a skilling peer, or being only a combat peer. Yeah, I mean, it certainly has a lot of elements of immersive sims and RPGs.
Sometimes they would say, Abed, stop developing. I think I do that. I think I do that all the time. It's one of the reasons I got this book is A, I don't want to lose my ideas, and B, rather than just always bug people and go, I had this idea, blah, blah, I write it down. The act of writing it down not only preserves it, but kind of helps me shake it out of my head and go, okay, I don't have to think about this endlessly. It's been written down.
Yeah, and you might come back to it one day and be like, oh, that is a good idea. Or you'd be like, that's generic. Nah. But this is what I love about like brainstorming, is that anything is useful in brainstorming. One of the best stories I read was for The Sopranos. The writer's room, what they did was when they came into the writer's room to decide how they're going to write a new episode, they just talked about their day. They didn't talk about the show. They talked about their day. what happened? What happened over the weekend? Anything interesting happened in your life? And they would use those stories as triggers for brainstorming and finding a way to tell a funny or interesting story, or move a character's story forward in The Sopranos. I think that's really cool. It's just, engage with people. You don't have to come in with the best ideas. Just have something, say something so that we can kickstart the discussion and maybe find something interesting from there. It's also why when you are ever in a brainstorming session for game development, it doesn't matter if your idea is bad, and hopefully you have somebody leading the brainstorming session who is really receptive and isn't going to shut you down and say that's a horrible idea. More, yeah, it'd be cool if like we had a kill cam when we shot enemies. Like, oh, well, every game's done that before. Okay, but maybe we can do it with certain kill shots or on certain abilities. Like an ultimate ability always plays this, or we do some cool camera work when we do this, and it's like we can find an interesting way to build that into our game if it's what we want. Does it serve the main focus? Is this a game like, is it a cinematic game where we want to show cool animations? Do we have different animations for different weapon types, or for your distance to the player or to the enemy? Let that idea exist and build upon it. Let the what ifs happen, or it would be cool if. That's the brainstorming. That's the high level design of the idea. See where it takes you. Follow the chain of thought.
Anyway, that's when I realized I wrote all three ideas in there, and I realized I'm a freaking game developer. I'm never gonna shake this. I'm never gonna really be able to settle down and not do it anymore or do something else. And I realized not only is that my lens, how I look at things, it's a big chunk of my identity. I don't think of myself as a retiree or a semi-retiree. I don't think of myself as a middle-aged guy. I don't even think of myself as a YouTuber, despite what my Wikipedia page now says.
I mean, Tim, you have what? You have 211,000 subscribers. You are a YouTuber as well as a game developer. That's insane. That's an insane number of subs. That's really cool. I mean, I love how it speaks to Tim's experience in the industry that he's able to break down complex topics into very simple, quick videos. I wish I had that skill. It's something that I need to develop, and Tim is really good at that. Well, he has this play button in the background. But no, I agree. Like, Tim is, I feel, I see myself becoming like Tim is when I'm his age. I don't see myself stopping game development. Yeah, there's parts of the industry I don't like right now. I wish I had more security. I wish we were making more money. Yeah, but I'm not going to stop doing what I love doing. It's just, this is who I am. I love it. Regardless of how bad the industry kind of is right now.
I don't even think of myself as a YouTuber, despite what my Wikipedia page now says. I think of myself as a game developer. And because of that, it's going to be interesting when I eventually retire, like full time.
You're not going to do that.
Not work anymore. Because it makes me wonder if I really am going to. I know I'm going to keep making toys, but it makes me wonder if I'm going to take any of those toys and try to convert them into a game. It's so easy to publish now. I mean, I could throw it up on Steam or throw it on Epic, throw it on GOG. Well, I guess I can't throw it on GOG because it's not a good old game because it's not old. But it'll be interesting when I finally retire to see what I do, because I don't think my identity is going to change, and I still think I'm going to be filling up this book and the other books with ideas, and then I'll have time to go through them and maybe see if I can implement any of them. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. I wanted to talk about that for Fun Friday, just what it's like to have game developer as your identity.
I wonder what that's like, huh? I think this has a lot in common with his job career calling video. I think was the term for it. Where for some people, I'll try to paraphrase what he said, because he said it really well. But that for some people in this industry, it is their job. They come in, they do their tasks, they go home. For some people, it's their career. They are focused on moving up, getting bigger titles, making more money. then they go home, and they don't think about games beyond that. But for some people, and I think for me and Tim, this is very true, and for a lot of people in this industry, it's our calling. It's who we are. It's just, it doesn't matter what bad things show up, what devil rears its face that we have to face the next day. We're not going to stop doing what we do. We're not going to stop writing down those ideas. And we're just going to keep prototyping and finding something interesting. I think that's cool. I really have a lot in common with Tim, and I really wish that our paths had aligned sometime in life, because I don't know if they ever will. Beyond maybe I can talk to him, like interview him. But there's other people that are like us that exist, and we just need to find and meet up and work together. So yeah, if you like this video, go give him a like and subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed that one. And I'll catch you on the next Tim Cain video. See you guys.